Hello everybody, Moltrap here, coming at you with Game 4 of MBCGame Hero versus the Woongjin Stars. And by the way, I guess I'll say it right off the bat, I'm pretty sure for those of you that are watching these as they come out, this is going to be the last game for tonight. I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to do the rest, although I may actually end up taking all night to process these and maybe tomorrow to process them. So they may just kind of roll out incrementally despite that. But if I do manage to get all these out tonight, then I'm going to take a pause and finish the series tomorrow, however many games there are after this one. There's going to be at least one game after this one, statistically speaking. But, well, not statistically speaking, but there's guaranteed to be just kind of the way from the way things work out. This is HyuN versus Free now. HyuN, who has gotten some decent kills for MBCGame Hero. For a few minutes there, he got like 5 or 6 really solid wins against some really strong players. And for a minute there, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, HyuN is the best." And I told them, no, he's really not. And guess who was right? I was. He's still solid. I mean, I like him, but he's not top tier. He got some good wins there for a little bit, but in general wasn't doing spectacularly. But he's been a solid like mid-level player, and a lot of teams don't even have that solid mid-level player to go to. And it's really kind of the teams that have been winning in Winners League and Pro League this season have been those teams who have the mid-level players, the solid players to go to. You know, the players like Movie, or you know, like HyuN, or who else? I guess like Luxury has been kind of a solid middle road player. Because if you have 1 star, sure, you can win a lot of games with just 1 star, aka Jaedong Oz, but you kind of need at least a couple other people to follow up, and Oz just doesn't have anyone to follow up with Jaedong's wins, so that's why they're actually not in the playoffs in the Winners League, you know. But so yeah, so the point being, it's really good to have those solid kind of middle of the road players like HyuN, who win about 50-55% of the games, maybe getting some wins on the board, not just free wins for the opposite team. Anyway, Free going for a Forge expand here, squeezing the little cannon in there in the gap between the Forge and the pylon. It's adorable. It's just adorable. Sometimes players have these kind of crazy doors that you're like, what is he doing? But then they end up working out just fine. And but Free is just going for just a very straightforward door. Got a cannon right in between the Forge and the pylon. Good stuff. It's probably going to put his gateway somewhere silly though. But this is a map that the choke kind of lends itself more to that. Free doing a lot of harassment of excuse me, Free doing a lot of harassment there. Look at that, he's just putting his gateway up in front there too. Very straightforward door. Straightforward door is straightforward. He stopped the hatchery from going down for a long time, so he's actually slowed down HyuN's economy significantly here. That third hatchery, well, what I will call the third hatchery, I guess, because it actually went up second, but it's in the 3rd position. It's farthest away from his main. Went up even a little bit late because he still tried to fight that probe for a while at the natural expansion to try and get that down, and didn't work, and then he ran off, and then the third the 3rd hatchery that was put down at the natural expansion, the 2nd base, or something, never mind, was also delayed again by that probe still. Anyway, he's still running that probe around. I think that probe is still alive. Maybe? Yep, there's a probe still running around, checking to see where that 3rd base went. He's probably, I mean, Zerg's almost always put it in the natural expansion of one of the other mains on this map, so he probably knows it's there, but he's just got to check it out anyways. It's good. You wouldn't want to, get caught off guard and not check that 12 o'clock position, and then get your probe killed before you could check top right, and then have no idea where the other base was. You want to kind of know where that is. Anyway, so Free only has a single cannon up now, and his probe is pretty much going to get chased out. Actually, his probe might be circling back around, It's hard to tell. The probe may have died as well, but he's going to have a Corsair out before too long. So I don't think Free is going to try for anything too crazy. Oh, he is going to run in here and spot a lot of Zerglings coming out here, actually. So Free was going to try and take advantage of the fact that he had a couple hatcheries out, and what was I saying? HyuN, rather. Sorry, HyuN. HyuN was going to try and take advantage of the fact that he'd killed Free's probe, and Free no longer had vision of what he was going on and what he was producing. He was going to try and go for some linkage here. This is a very good map for run-bys because there's such a huge choke, and it took a while for players to realize, oh, I should put a pylon there to close that gap, because if I put a single zealot in a gap the size of an Ultralisk, these lings are going to run around me and kill me. So I think his door is probably safe, even with just that single cannon. He might be able to, he might stand to have a second cannon there. Spire is about to pop. Overlord is going to die, but Free hasn't been in the main base of HyuN for a while, so it might be better served of him to just go straight for the main and use his second Corsair to kill off the Overlord. The advantage, though, of killing it off quickly is that Overlord did not see the Citadel. It's pretty much he can expect that Citadel, though. But still, might have been better for him to scout the main, because now he's probably going to lose that Corsair. Going to caught off the guard by some Scourge or something like that. I don't know. It might not lose the Corsair, but there's going to be Scourge out, and so he's not going to really be able to get too good of a scope out of the main base, because the Scourge are going to chase those Corsairs off pretty quickly. Unless that Overlord supply blocked him or something? Why does he not have Scourge out? There's the Scourge. Yeah, we saw a couple larvae earlier at that base, and then they morphed to Scourge. So he must have actually been supply blocked by that first Overlord popping out there, or getting popped there by the Corsairs. So that ended up working out pretty well for Free after all. I don't think it would have been planned, though. Usually Zergs have an extra Overlord around at this point, at that point of the game, just for that kind of a situation. Got a cannon in the main, just a single cannon. I don't think he's in danger of any kind of Mutalisk thing, though. Just running in there, and again, see, he's not able to actually. I don't think he's actually gotten a Corsair into the main to see what's going on there. He's actually, oh, but he's building up Corsairs in the back of his base, though. He's not running them all around as a group right now. He's still just running around one or two to kind of lull HyuN into thinking that he's just gotten a couple Corsairs for scouting and he's going to go for mostly a ground army, but actually he's getting a decent squad of Corsairs, probably upgrading weapons as well. And here come the Mutas, and this might have been what he was hoping to bait him into, because if he doesn't land all those Scourge on the Corsairs, those Mutas are going to own his base. I'm sorry, if he doesn't land all the Scourge, the Corsairs will own the Mutas. That would have owned his base. Here he comes in for the attack now. He's got the Scourge alongside, and now the Corsairs spring into action, and the Scourge are a little bit bunched up. They get picked off. He morphs into an Archon as well, so he's not even going to lose any of the High Templar for that location, and now he kills the other Scourge as well. The Corsairs completely chase away those Mutalisks, so basically hiding the Corsairs made HyuN think that he had an opportunity to go in with Mutas, and then he came out with the Corsairs and owned the Mutas. Well, I guess owned them in a philosophical sense, in a sense that he didn't kill them yet, so he didn't really own them, but he owned them in that he drove them away and just completely overpowered them. And here he comes in with more Scourge, failing again, getting hit a little bit on the way over by that Archon. See, I called him an Archon this time instead of an Arbiter. And now he's actually pushing into the second base. It's pretty well defended against ground forces, though. He's got a nice little choke there. He's sending Lings in after